What is going on, y'all? Today's video is going to be a little bit of talking. It's going to be kind of short, but I got a message from a friend who we both suffer from bipolar manic depression, and she has a lot harder time with it than me. And she feels like I should do a video talking about what I go through and how I deal with it. Truth is, I just found what works for me. Medicine didn't help, therapy didn't help, but what really helped me was, honestly, my hobbies, like reptiles and comic books. That really helped a lot with the depression. Now the manic episodes, I have no control over those, and I hate it when I am manic because I'm go, and there's no stop, and I can't sleep, and it gets bad. It doesn't happen as much anymore, but there was a good stretch there where it was just a common thing, and I just got used to it. Really up, and then come all the way down, and it would last for weeks. And in those manic episodes, I'd go for weeks, and then when I was depressed, it would be for weeks on end. And I completely shut down, stay in my room, stop talking to people, mood swings are bad. Yeah, it's just, it's not something that's fun to deal with, and, you got to find what works for you. Some people, medicine works, therapy helps them. Then there's people like me who their hobbies and their interests in life actually helped. So, yeah, it just depends on who you are. And, the pain that comes with these things, it's all the same. The struggles are kind of all the same, but they're also different. People's manic episodes affect them in different ways. Like I said, mine is I'm very go, and I'm very, it's like focused, but it's chaotic focus. And other people, they just go off the deep end and go wild. The depression, same thing. Hits everybody different. Me, I get extra lazy. I'm not talkative. I'm extremely moody. I have really bad mood swings. And I just stay in my room and stay away from people. And it used to be I'd do this for weeks on end sometimes. For weeks I'd be up and then I'd crash. And it just is what it is. It just depends. Now it's not as bad. I still have moments. Everybody still has their moments of, it coming back, or it happened. It happens. It's just a part of your life. It becomes a part of your life. The past few years I've had maybe 2 extreme episodes with it. But for the most part, I've done pretty well. And like I said, I found what works for me for the most part. My animals and my comics. And now I'm doing this. This is another thing. I find that the more my time is occupied, the less I have time to... Because my depression and stuff like that really kicks in when I just have time to myself. Too much idle time on my hands. And I start to think about things. I start to think about my life. I start to think about my effect on other people's lives. And it brings me down. Or if I'm in the middle of a manic episode, and I want to stop, but I can't stop, it makes the depression worse when I actually stop, because I wanted to stop for so long, and now I've stopped, and I don't want to be in that position. So, it just really depends, and, luckily, my mom is a great support system when it comes to that stuff. She deals with it the best, I think. She handles it better than my other family members, like my brother. My brothers don't really understand it. Sure, they get down and everything, but they don't, they're not clinically depressed like I am. So they understand it to an extent, but at some point they're like, just get over it, And, I wish I could always just be over it, but It just is what it is, and I can't help it when it happens. And when it happens, you know, you gotta ride that wave and you gotta deal with it. It's all a part of life, man. But my mom is a great support system. She talks me through everything. She understands. She can always tell when I'm in an episode because she's like, "You're on one right now, aren't you?" It's my mother. She knows before anybody knows. And she deals with it. My brothers deal with it to an extent. My grandparents deal with it to an extent. But the only one who really grasps what's going on all the time is my mom. I think that's just because she's my mom. And, I'm her kid. So she wants to help me in any way possible. So she bites the bullet and she deals with the mood swings. She deals with the nonsense. And I love her for that. But you have to find what works for you. Same thing with stuff like anxiety. A lot of people don't know this, but I have terrible anxiety. I am very weird about things. Like when movie theaters were open, y'all remember that back in the day? Back in 2018, 2019, so long ago, the way back when movie theaters were open. I had this thing where I have to sit in between my brothers because I'm so terrified to sit next to a stranger. Like, that's an anxiety, anxious thing for me. Sitting next to strangers in a movie theater freaks me out, and I don't know why. Another thing, of course, is crowds. Whenever we used to go out and whatnot, I was always either at a table, facing to where I can see everybody and everything that's going on around me, or my back's against the wall when everybody's on the dance floor and my back's against the wall because there's no one behind me and I can see everything going on. But I also think that comes from my dealings in the streets, the paranoia, the anxiety. It's a lot to deal with, and it's not really, especially in the black community, it's not really okay to talk about these things, especially as a black man. Which a lot of that has changed, but I remember growing up, any sign of instability was a sign of weakness, and as black men, we cannot show that weakness. We have to deal with it. We can't, and then therapy was very frowned upon. It still kind of is. Anything having to do with people thinking there's something wrong with you mentally is very taboo in our community, and it just is what it is. Everybody has their thing. Mental health in the black community is not something that is always dealt with very properly. And that could be said for a lot of people, but it's very stereotyped in the black community that if you have a mental illness, there is something wrong with you. So, and we're taught from a young age, especially us young men, bear that shit. Deal with it. You think you're the only one with problems. Everybody's got problems. Now everybody wants to hear your problems. So bottle it up, man up, and do what you gotta do to get through it. And like I said, that's changed a lot. It's changed a lot as a whole for a lot of people. A lot of people in the world, that going to therapy isn't a bad thing. It doesn't necessarily mean you're crazy. Getting help doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. And that's a beautiful thing. But I just remember as a kid being told, head up, chest out. You're a soldier. You got to fight through this. We don't got time for you to be with this. Because, like I said, it's a sign of weakness. To some people, it's considered a sign of weakness. So, no one has time for that. And in the streets, they definitely don't have time for it. So, bottle that shit up and go on about your business. But like I said, you got to find what works for you. What worked for me is working for me. I still have my episodes. Everyone does. Nobody's perfect. There's no perfect cure for any of these things. You just have to understand you. That's the big thing. Understanding you. And I got to a point where I finally understand me. Do I understand why completely? No, but I understand it enough to help with it, which is great. I still am trying to figure out other triggers in my life, such as, binge eating and stuff like that. I'm still trying to figure out where that comes from, because that's the hardest part of the weight loss for me. Because I know I'm not hungry. I'll be sitting around knowing I'm not hungry, but still wanting to eat. And I still haven't figured out what the trigger is for that for me yet. So I'm focusing on my weight loss. I'm doing good right now, but there's no guarantees in this. And everybody says, oh, it's all up to your willpower. Absolutely, that's part of it. But also, there's certain things that just trigger things in people. And however you handle it is how you handle it. So if something triggers me, without even thinking about it, I could run straight to the fridge and eat a whole tub of ice cream. And not even think about it. Just a trigger that fast can set it off. And I don't know what that is. I don't know. I'm starting to think that it's because food is a comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? And food is always there. Like, those nachos never let me down. That piece of pizza never let me down. You know what I'm saying? That peanut butter and jelly sandwich didn't hurt my feelings today. Stuff like that. But I'm still trying to figure that out for me. So, that's where I am with that. But I just wanted to do this one real quick and just let y'all know what was going on. Hope you have a good one.